Spurs fans, don't look now, but your team hasn't lost the game yet, has scored the same number of goals as Man City, and are currently in second place in the Premier League, despite losing arguably the greatest player in your club's history, a sale that would have sent most managers' heads in a tailspin. But not Ange Postecoglou. The former Celtic boss arrived in England this summer relatively unknown, but in just 4 short weeks has already left his mark on the Tottenham squad, defying all of our early expectations in the process. But how exactly is he doing it? Well, it starts with style of play. When Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho managed Tottenham, they were accused of coaching boring, negative, pragmatic football. And whether you agree with the slander or not, those are charges that Postecoglou could never be indicted on. The Australian has an affinity for adventurous attacking football, and not only expects his players to take risks with the ball at their feet, but actually demands it, as his team currently lead the league in progressive carries into the penalty area, and attempted take-ons. But how does Ange get so many players on the ball so often? I got 3 words for you: inverting your fullbacks. Now I know Guardiola made this famous with Joao Cancelo, and Arteta's done the same with Zinchenko, but the key difference is that they only invert 1 fullback at a time. Postecoglou, on the other hand, inverts 2 at a time, and essentially doesn't play with traditional fullbacks at all. Allow me to explain. While Tottenham appear to line up in a standard 4-2-3-1 during defensive phases, they look very different in attack. Postecoglou begins by sending his wingers as wide as possible, which allows his 8 to join the number 10 in attacking midfield. He then drops the remaining 6 in front of the center backs, which opens up the half spaces. Both fullbacks then begin to invert and fill in that opening, creating one of the narrowest but most progressive shapes in the Premier League. Trust me, there's a method to the madness. With an infinite amount of triangles on the pitch, Spurs players always have a passing option, and it's usually a forward one. But none of this could ever work without gifted fullbacks who are capable of inverting, and luckily for Postecoglou, he has 2. Starting with left-back Destiny Udogie. The 20-year-old returned to Tottenham this summer after an incredible loan spell at Udinese last season, where he racked up 3 goals and 4 assists in the Serie A. His 6'1" frame and straight-line speed make him quite the headache for opposition attackers, but his true strength lies in what he can do offensively, as the youngster sprints past defenders as if he were a winger, with the skill and technique of an outright midfielder. His elite percentiles for carries in the final third, progressive carries, and successful take-ons are proof of that, while his 2 assists to start the season serve as Postecoglou's proof of concept. But as impressive as Destiny is, his partner might be even better. Tottenham's right-back Pedro Porro arrived in London last season. He was signed from Sporting Clube de Portugal, where he played a massive role in ending the club's 19-year title drought. His natural ability on the ball and clutch goal scoring from defense caught the eye of Antonio Conte, and after seeing his insane attacking metrics from the last year and his total goal contributions during his final season in Portugal, who could blame him? Unfortunately, the Spaniard walked into a circus last January, but it looks like Pedro is back to his best, already nabbing his first assist of the campaign. But with Udogie and Porro given license to bomb forward, you need someone to protect your center backs, which is where Yves Bissouma comes into play. Tottenham's defensive midfielder is Ange's anchor, as the Malian spends 90 minutes consistently winning the ball back for his team, and actually leads the entire Premier League in total tackles and interceptions. His incredible ball control in tight spaces also prevents Spurs from being dispossessed and getting exposed. But on the off chance someone sneaks in behind, they'll have to deal with new signing Micky van de Ven. The 22-year-old Dutch defender has become notorious for his blinding speed, as world football has rarely seen a player so tall move so fast. As a matter of fact, the 6'4" center back's top speed ranked as the 2nd fastest in Bundesliga history. World Cup champion and new school hardman Christian Romero helped see out the rest of the back line, while Hugo Lloris's replacement Guillermo Zicario hasn't disappointed so far. This progressive W will look to carry the ball higher up the pitch with the help of 20-year-old Pape Matar Sarr. The Senegalese sensation has been with Spurs since 2019 and has become an undroppable starter since Ange's arrival. His tackling ability and defensive metrics are even crazier than Bissouma's are, and he brings extra offensive ability to the table too, as he bulldozes down Tottenham's right-hand side and is trusted to supply his forwards with line-breaking passes. Postecoglou's most creative midfielder, however, is easily James Maddison. The Englishman was snatched up this summer after Leicester's shameful relegation last season, but despite the team's failure, Maddison's attacking output proved that he wasn't part of the problem, and he's quickly replacing all those negative memories memories with a brand new highlight reel of goal contributions instead, with the number 10 registering 2 goals and 2 assists for his new club already, as he makes his early case for signing of the season. And given the loss of Harry Kane's assist totals, Maddison's creativity is exactly what Postecoglou's system needs, a system that will also count on the heavily underrated Dejan Kulusevski on the right, and a still unproven Richarlison up top, to get the most out of the new club captain Heung Min Son on the left. The South Korean is arguably Tottenham's only world-class player and has earned the status of club icon, amassing 148 goals and 80 assists in his 377 appearances across 8 seasons. His ability to cut in from the left side and curl long-distance strikes is a trademark at this point, and Postecoglou is making sure he stays there, with Son's heat map showing us much more positional discipline when compared to his previous seasons. And if his hat-trick against Burnley last weekend is a sneak peek of what's to come, Postecoglou's side might just achieve what we thought was impossible at the start of the season, and actually play better football without Harry Kane. If you liked today's video, go ahead and watch another. As always, I'm Andy, first team all sideline.